Welcome to Women Awakening. I'm Cynthia James, and this network is about changing lives one woman at a time. So welcome to Women Awakening. We are changing lives one woman at a time. We're changing the world one woman at a time. I'm Cynthia James. I'm your host, and I am excited to bring women to you from around the world that want to make a difference, want to bring their gifts, want to stand in the awareness that the feminine is here for a profound and powerful reason. And so today we're going to talk about transformation. And so my guest is Melinda Jacobs. She is an intuitive coach, a clinical hypnotherapist, and her company is Quantum Therapeutics. Welcome, Melinda.
Thank you, Cynthia. I am thrilled to be here with you.
So I want to know, what does Quantum Therapeutics do? What do you do as a clinical hypnotherapist and intuitive coach?
So I tell people that I start where most traditional counseling stops. A lot of people leave traditional counseling with a really good, clear understanding of their past, the trauma, what happened, and why they're a little glitchy and twitchy. And they understand it, but they haven't moved past and through those experiences. So in my practice, I help people transform and heal through those experiences using hypnotherapy tools, using some spiritual intuitive coaching and counseling, and really help people step beyond it, step into who they are, so that they can really live a fulfilled life.
Yeah, so why this work? Why do you want to do this work?
It's funny, I hear that all the time. It's like, oh, you listen to people's problems all the time and you sit in trauma all day long. I can't think of anything more purposeful and more fulfilling than that. And really, it's my own healing path that got me here. And it's all the people, and surprisingly, all women, who helped me along the way make sense of the world that I grew up out of, the distorted beliefs and patterns I was holding, and really to step into myself and bring my very best to the world. And so, yeah, I can't think of a better thing to do. I love what I do, and it's so incredible to watch someone move through that old stuff, let it go, and step into and claim their brilliance, right? It's amazing.
Yeah, yeah. And so you had a perfect childhood?
Yeah. It was great. It was the perfect childhood for an empath and a very intuitive child to grow up in, and to live day to day in absolute terror, not knowing if she was going to survive the day. Literally, I grew up thinking every day I was going to be shot and killed. And so it was a very typical abusive alcoholic environment where the veil of everything's perfect, everything's fine was being projected out. But energetically, me as an empath, as a sensitive, it just felt like I was living in a war zone. And so it was just not, it wasn't pleasant, and it was perfect.
Well, and I love that answer because, I came from, an abusive childhood and a lot of
Mhm.
craziness and drama. But what's interesting to me is how many of us who were also seekers stepped into other fields where we wanted to be in service and bring
Mhm.
others into the possibility of that doesn't have to be a reality for your life.
Absolutely. I remember early on just coming into just beginning to wake up to the fact that that was traumatic. I didn't even know as a kid, like that was my normal, right? And I think most people normalize the abuse, the neglect, the trauma, all of it. And until they get away from it, then it's all of a sudden, oh, wait, I think that was a little disturbing. I was the same way. And I met someone who said to me, I'm going to know your truth for you until you can know it for yourself. And that has to be one of the most profound statements anyone ever said to me in those early years of my own healing. And now I get to say it to other people too. I do know the truth of who they are, and I do know it for them until they can know it for themselves.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, what's the biggest challenge for you doing this work?
Self-care.
Oh.
And I know Cynthia James has an amazing self-care program. Really, yeah, just remembering that I'm sensitive, remembering that that requires a very specific kind of care. It's no different than if I had, one leg shorter than the other and I just needed to have a very specific type of support to keep balance in my life. And so being empathic, I've really learned how to navigate the world, how to take care of myself, how to create spaces for me to reset back into my own energy so I can remember who I am rather than morphing into everyone else. I think that's a pretty common thing that people who are highly sensitive do.
Mhm.
And so yeah, really knowing how to take care of myself, and that just shifts and changes and deepens the more I study with you, the more I do other things. It's just, that's really the top piece.
Mhm. It's
Yeah.
beautiful. So, what do you think is the biggest struggle for women today?
I think that there's some old messages that we don't even know that we're carrying, that we're living into them as if they're true and real. And I think the hardest thing is to recognize them, to just take that half step or two or three steps back from what we think we should be, who we should be, how we should be, to step back and even look at it and question it. And
Mhm.
I think it's just gotten so lost through the generations that we've forgotten our power, our strength, our purpose, our place in the world. And I think that's, waking up, just waking up.
Yeah. And it's so interesting because I work with a lot of women, and I know you do, and it's like, and they so deeply and profoundly want to make a difference and want to what and yet they're dealing with the messaging and the voices and all that stuff saying,
Hmm.
you can't go there, don't dream that big, don't be
Right.
that powerful. So I totally agree.
Hmm.
So I want to know, if someone wanted to work with you, how would they find you?
So I have a website,
Hmm.
quantum-therapeutics.com, and
Hmm.
that's a really good place to start. I offer 30-minute complimentary consultations so people can kind of get a better idea. I know what I do is a little outside of the norm, outside of the traditional, and yet most people who find me have already kind of done that path and they're looking for something different and
Hmm.
unique. So that 30 minutes allows us to get to know each other, to really get specific about what they're looking at, what they're wanting to step out of and let go of and free themselves from, and to see if I'm a good fit. So that's a
Hmm.
good place to start. And then I have lots of information and videos on my website. I have a whole video blog of little inspirations that show up throughout the days, weeks, months, and years.
Awesome. Say it again one last time, the site.
Quantum-therapeutics.com.
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of every one of these, I ask the women, what do you want women to know about awakening? What do you want them to remember?
I love that question. And I think from my experience with your coaching program, with coming into my own awakening and stepping into my own power, is to really know that deep inherently that there is such a base value that we as women bring to the world. There's that phrase, right? That give a woman a house, she'll make it a home. Give her food and she'll make a meal. And I think that remembering that we bring inherently so much value in our softness, in our hearts, in our strength, in our fierceness, that there is something about that is that's it's almost like there's a void of it in the world right now that's screaming for us to bring it forward.
Yeah,
So yeah, that.
yeah, that's
Mhm.
beautiful. Well, it's clear to me you're on purpose and on your path, and I'm so grateful that you were here, that you could share your wisdom with people. I think just knowing that people like you are out here makes it easier for people to take a step for their healing.
Mm, thank you. It's
Thank
an
you.
honor, it's a gift, and It is. It's a calling.
Absolutely.
And I'm just happy to say yes.
So, ladies, thank you so much for coming to Women Awakening. What I want you to know is that you are a unique and original imprint. There's no one else like you, that you've come here to do something that no one else can do. So please come back and listen to these podcasts, listen to these women, to inspire you, to remind you, to lift you, to nurture you, to mirror back to you the possibilities. That's why we do this. I'm excited to be in support of you, and I'm excited to bring women to you that I admire and inspire me. So many blessings, and we'll see you at the next one.